How does copywriting differ in B2B versus B2C situations?
Yeah, and this is a really good question. I've heard it a lot. Um, it's there's so many ways to answer it. I'm going to go for the answer that I think will be most helpful to people who are wondering the same thing, and that is that they don't really differ that much. We tend to believe that, and most of my clients are in the B2B world, and Copy Hackers is, of course, also B2B Intuit, B2B, except for TurboTax, of course, but I was focused on QuickBooks at Intuit as well. So I've been in the B2B world a lot in copywriting for that. And I've also, of course, done the B2C stuff, too. And we tend to think, oh, B2C, man, you get to be, like, so creative. Oh, you get to have fun with your messaging. And when we're talking to businesses, you have to be really, like, buttoned down and all, worried about sounding professional and things.
Hmm.
And it's not that, it's as if having some sort of tone or not taking yourself incredibly seriously makes you sound unprofessional, but that's not actually true. I mean, when you're on your way to the office, I've heard this once, when you're on your way to the office, you don't grow a second head. You don't turn into somebody else who doesn't like the same things that you like when you're at home. So when we're talking to people who are in the business world, we're still talking to regular human beings who respond emotionally to things, who make business decisions based on emotion, and then we just have to pretend that it's based on logic, and so when we're writing messaging for B2B audiences, we probably want to still sell emotionally, but then back that up with more logical things in ways that you don't necessarily always do with a B2C sort of audience. So be emotional, tap into those things that people in the business world want, and there's a lot of often ego there, right? You want to make sure that your boss likes the thing that you just gave him, or likes the tool that you recommended, or is pleased that you got your work done faster than ever. Your boss doesn't know who you are today, but if they use this tool, then tomorrow, or if you use this tool, then tomorrow they may know, right? And that's not that that's a message to use, but that's like tapping a bit into the emotional side. People still choose business solutions based on how it will make them feel and how their lives will be improved with them. So being all like overly professional and like losing the emotional impact that you could have just seems like it's this myth that's helped keep business writing down. But if you can get past that, then you can have as much fun writing B2B copy and get great results too as if you were to write B2C copy.
Yeah, I think there's sort of this fallacy that people believe that professionalism and competence are like have to be, or coming across as professional and coming across as competent are intrinsic. But I think really it's competence that people typically look for. Like they want to know that they're going to be taken care of and that this will actually solve their problem, rather than that this is something that their grandpa would be proud of.
Yeah. And in communicating that you're competent, that doesn't mean that you have to write it out in a boring or tone-free or jargon-filled sort of way. And no matter how many times I say this to people, it still seems very hard for people to really, really grasp and think that it's okay to try this for your own B2B writing or for your business that's targeting businesses. But people who watch movies and buy books and read books also go to work at businesses and run businesses. Then they go home and they want to watch movies again. They want to be entertained again. They want to feel something again after their workday's done. So don't you think they'd want to feel something during their workday too? And that does get into this question that's showing on the screen now, right, around whether professionalism is more important than fun, quirky, or personality driven. And it's not actually an either or. Having the right personality and having a bit of personality when you're writing copy for professionals can make them like you more. And likability is a key persuasion factor for anybody who's like Red Cialdini, right? Be more likable, be easier to access and feel like you're someone that can be connected with or an organization that can be connected with. And that is professional because that's great customer service and what professional doesn't understand. That sort of way of look. Anyway, so I ramble on because I feel quite passionately about this question, writing for B2B audiences, but I hope that brings home the point.
No, and I think one just sort of quick example. I receive a ton of email, and when I receive really long, very, professionally written, excellent grammar, paragraph after paragraph, I do tend to quickly scan through them, but often I find that it doesn't quite register. Whereas when I receive emails that, let's say, don't adhere to typical structure, are a little bit friendlier, have line breaks, and kind of, a generous use of bold, well, generous, but also judicious use of bold and italic, I tend to understand a little bit better and tend to actually follow
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, I would completely agree. I mean, you're more likely to want to connect with anybody that comes off as a little friendlier, as long as you're not overstepping the boundaries, right? And
For
that's
sure, for
where,
sure.
but you shouldn't be doing that in B2C copy either. There's no world in which you as a business should be overstepping boundaries, unless that's a clear strategy that you've decided on as an organization. Um, but yeah, friendly is
All right.
generally going to work, yeah, better than
Yeah.
being cold and, stodgy.